Welcome to Culture Talk. This is the segment where we talk about the integration of pop culture and faith and how being aware of culturally relevant topics can help us share our faith. I'm joined today with our guest, Sherer from the Reclamation Society and also host of the Story Geeks podcast. How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm great. It's good to be back.
I know. Welcome back. I love having you on. We're going to be talking about what we always talk about, kind of, Star Wars.
Star Wars is something. There's too many Star Wars almost.
I know.
There can't be too many Star Wars in my opinion.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Solo, a Star Wars story. First, what did you think about it?
I thought it was really fun. It's a really fun film. I think it fits into the Star Wars universe. There's been a lot of people boycotting the film, but I think it's kind of ridiculous. It's a fun journey. Like, why not go for it?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it was a super fun ride.
Totally.
So our main character now, Han Solo, we've always known him as a scruffy-looking nerf herder, a scoundrel.
That's right.
He's the anti-hero, but we kind of see him in a different light. So first, let's talk about how you would define hero. Yeah,
at the Story Geeks, we actually have redefined hero. Because if you look it up in the dictionary, a lot of times you'll see heroes that are sort of culturally relevant. But for superheroes and for like galactic type situations, we need someone who's actually willing to be a hero for everyone, which means that you can't just be selfless for your tribe or your ideology. You have to be selfless for everybody. You have to be willing to sacrifice yourself for the entire universe, not just a group of people or not just an ideology. So hero is a really very arduous thing that you have to go for. And anti-heroes are usually people then who fall into this category where we think that they are gonna look out for themselves, but in the end, they don't. Kind of like Han Solo.
Right. Yeah, but then we see him in a different light in this film, which I think is really intriguing because he's stuck with this narrative that he isn't good.
Yeah.
But ultimately he does do good.
That's
and
right.
I thought that was really interesting as Christians when we think of maybe the narrative we might be stuck in.
That's right.
That we're fallen and we're depraved, and we are, but we're still capable of doing good. So how then would we engage in these ideas of anti-hero and how that can actually be inspiring for us?
Yes. So I think the idea of anti-heroes can be inspiring for two reasons. For one thing, we do see all the world is imperfect and all the world under sin. But we also see that Jesus Christ loves every person and wants to draw every person to himself. And therefore, we can see everybody, even if we see the bad in them, so to speak, we can also see the fact that we should have love for those people, right? If your neighbor is somebody who you're like, I really struggle with this person, just think about the fact that Jesus loves that person regardless of any of the things that they're doing and definitely wants that person to come to him. So if you're taking on that view, now they don't become an enemy anymore, they become somebody that you're gonna want to befriend and have an outreach for because they need love, they need Jesus.
Right. And I like the idea of someone being broken, being able to still do good and to still, through that brokenness, have empathy.
Oh, that's
so
right.
I think that's a very Christian story there.
Yeah.
So then when we think about, you mentioned about heroes being able to sacrifice, what does that look like for evangelism?
Well, I think you have to sacrifice your comfort first and foremost, because it's very rarely comfortable to step out and have a conversation with someone that could lead to very in-depth, very difficult things. That's not an easy thing to do. And in the modern day, we usually hide behind computers and devices to do it, right? So I think one of the things that we can learn from anti-heroes and heroes is this ability to say, I'm gonna be courageous, not because I don't have fear, but because I want to step forward and play into the bravery that I can actually draw from. And we know that perfect love casts out all fear. So going back to the anti-hero aspect of it, if we have love for the people around us, we don't have to be as fearful. We're doing it for them. We're not doing it for us. We're not doing it under obligation of guilt. We're doing it because we want to be the messengers of Jesus Christ.
Right. And if you want to hear more from Jay, you can check out reclamationsociety.org. You can check out his site, and you can also check out the Story Geeks podcast.